Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before starting the video, please consider leaving a like. It really motivates us to keep sharing useful content. Also, don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel and activate the little bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos about Islamic faith. Thank you all and enjoy the video. Marriage holds a deep and sacred place in Islam. It is more than just a union between two people. It is considered half of one's faith. This concept alone shows the profound spiritual weight that marriage carries in the life of a believer. When the Prophet Muhammad said, "When a servant marries, he has completed half of his religion," it emphasized not only the practical importance of marriage, but also its spiritual necessity. Therefore, when someone feels that marriage is approaching or sees signs that Allah is preparing them for this journey, it's not just a matter of emotion or a coincidence. It could be a divine confirmation. Many people view marriage purely from a worldly perspective, considering only compatibility, attraction, and timing. While these are important, Islam teaches us that marriage is deeply connected to divine will and timing. When Allah intends to unite two souls, the process becomes filled with spiritual signs, emotional shifts, and situational alignments that are often too consistent to be random. For a believer who is attuned to their Lord and sincere in their du'as, these moments feel like whispers from the divine, reminders that something is being written for them in the unseen. Marriage is not just about companionship. It's a means of growing spiritually, finding tranquility, and supporting one another in faith. The Quran describes spouses as garments for each other, a beautiful metaphor that implies protection, intimacy, and honor. This description reflects how sacred and personal the institution of marriage truly is. So when someone starts to feel that Allah is sending clear signs, it is essential to view those signs through a spiritual lens. Perhaps they have been making constant dua for a righteous spouse. Perhaps they've been working on themselves, growing in patience, developing their character, and suddenly they begin to notice changes within themselves and around them. Sometimes these signs come subtly. You may notice that reminders about marriage begin appearing in your life more often. You hear a khutbah about preparing for marriage, or a friend mention a dream about you getting married. Maybe someone you respect starts bringing up the topic with you. You might feel a sense of calm and clarity when you think about marriage, even if there's no one specific in the picture yet. All of these things can be gentle confirmations from Allah that He is bringing this next chapter into your life. These confirmations are not necessarily loud or dramatic. Often they're quiet and peaceful, arriving like a soft breeze, preparing your heart to receive what's coming. It's important to remember that when Allah sends a confirmation, it doesn't always mean that the marriage will happen immediately. It may be a call to prepare yourself spiritually and emotionally. It could be Allah telling you, the time is near, get ready. This readiness isn't just about external things like career stability or moving into a new home. More importantly, it's about the inner state, your relationship with Allah, your level of patience, your character, your ability to forgive and love for the sake of Allah. All these aspects are parts of the preparation that often go unnoticed, but are the most critical in building a marriage that is pleasing to Allah. The beauty of Islamic guidance is that it ties every major life decision back to Allah. Marriage is no exception. It is not something to rush into blindly, nor is it something to delay out of fear. It is a sacred trust and a step that demands sincerity, reliance on Allah, and a pure intention. When you believe that Allah is sending you a confirmation, it should fill your heart with gratitude and hope. But it should also motivate you to engage with Him more, to pray with more depth, to ask for guidance in your decisions, and to seek clarity through istikhara. It is not about waiting passively. It is about walking toward what Allah is guiding you to, while keeping your heart firmly attached to Him. There is also a special kind of tranquility that comes when you truly feel that your time is coming. It may not be explained logically. You just feel ready. Your heart is no longer anxious. You stop comparing yourself to others. You start focusing more on your own journey, your own healing, and your own growth. You stop seeing singleness as a punishment and instead see it as a period of preparation and grace. These emotional shifts are also signs. They're not random. They are ways Allah aligns your heart with His plan. In the end, believers must remember that when something is written for them, no force in this world can prevent it. The same goes for marriage. If Allah has destined a spouse for you, someone who will help you grow in deen and dunya, then the universe will align, hearts will soften, and paths will open. What we must do is remain sincere, stay connected to Allah, and pay attention to the subtle ways in which He communicates with us. Because sometimes a clear confirmation is not a loud announcement. It is a quiet peace that settles in your heart, telling you that what you've been praying for is on its way. Recognizing when Allah is sending you a sign is a matter of spiritual sensitivity. It requires not only a sound heart, but also a clear mind rooted in tawakkul, full reliance on Allah. When it comes to marriage, many people wonder if the feelings they experience or the events that unfold around them are truly signs from Allah or simply coincidences. But for a believer who sincerely prays for guidance, Allah never leaves them in confusion for long. He promises in the Quran that whoever puts their trust in Him, He is sufficient for them, and that He guides the hearts of those who seek Him. So when marriage is written for you and the time is near, you'll begin to notice certain signs, not through superstition, but through alignment, clarity, and spiritual insight. One of the clearest signs is the internal shift that happens in the heart. A person who was once anxious about marriage suddenly begins to feel calm and content. Their focus shifts from desperation or longing to preparation and peace. This is not because the person has become indifferent, but because Allah is settling their heart. There's a quiet confidence that enters the soul, a feeling that what is meant for them is on the way. They begin to let go of chasing, forcing, or overthinking, and instead they focus more on improving their character, increasing their du'as, and trusting the process. This kind of emotional and spiritual realignment is one of the most powerful confirmations, because Allah always starts the transformation from within. In addition to this internal clarity, external signs often begin to manifest. These aren't always dramatic events, but they're consistent enough to catch your attention. For example, you may start hearing about marriage more often in unexpected places. Perhaps a khutbah at Jumu'ah focuses on preparing for marriage. Maybe several friends get married in a short span of time, making you reflect more deeply on your own journey. You might be reading Quran and come across ayat about pairs, companionship, or tranquility, and they strike your heart differently this time. This repetition is often a form of divine communication. When something keeps appearing in your life in different forms, conversations, dreams, reminders, it's a way Allah gently turns your attention toward what He's preparing you for. Another sign is when people around you begin to see something you hadn't fully recognized in yourself. A family member or trusted friend might ask if you're considering marriage soon, or mention that they see you as ready for this step. These comments can seem random, but in reality, they can be a confirmation that others are seeing a light in you, a maturity or peace that makes marriage a natural next step. Often, Allah uses other people as part of His guidance for us. Just as He can send someone into our life to open the door to marriage, He can also use the voices of those close to us to confirm that the time is near. Dreams can also serve as signs, though they must be treated with caution. Not every dream has a divine meaning, and not every good feeling in a dream is a confirmation from Allah. But sometimes, people see dreams that bring clarity, peace, or even a recurring message, such as seeing themselves dressed for a wedding, meeting a potential spouse, or being advised by a righteous figure. These dreams can serve as spiritual encouragement. However, they should always be considered alongside real-life circumstances, dua, and consultation. Islam never encourages us to make major life decisions based on dreams alone. But when paired with consistent external and internal signs, they can add to the feeling of confirmation. Another subtle but profound sign is when certain obstacles begin to remove themselves from your path. Perhaps a situation you thought would never change suddenly opens up. Maybe someone you had feelings for but couldn't pursue due to circumstances suddenly becomes available again in a way that feels right this time. Or maybe you meet someone new in a way that feels natural and divinely timed. Not rushed, but not delayed either. These moments feel orchestrated, and while they may not be flashy, there is something unmistakably different about them. Allah sometimes opens a door so effortlessly that you realize it is only by His will that things have moved forward. In these moments, it is important not to rely on feelings alone, but to anchor yourself in supplication and istikhara. One of the most beautiful things about Islam is the prayer of istikhara, a way of asking Allah to guide you to what is best and to keep you away from what is not. If after praying istikhara your heart continues to feel calm, things continue to align, and no major red flags arise, this can be another confirmation that Allah is guiding you gently toward what is written for you. And even if it turns out that the person or path you are considering is not the one, the journey itself is part of your growth. Allah never misguides those who seek Him sincerely. Recognizing signs from Allah is not about looking for miracles, but about being present, mindful, and spiritually aware. It's about being attuned to the subtle ways in which Allah communicates, through your heart, your environment, and your circumstances. When marriage is truly meant for you, Allah will not leave you in the dark. He will open your heart, remove your fears, guide your steps, and show you through His signs that the path you are walking is blessed. You just have to keep your heart open, your trust firm, and your connection with Him strong. Many people desire marriage, and this is natural. It's a part of our fitra, our innate human nature. But desire alone isn't enough. When Allah is preparing someone for marriage, it isn't only about sending them signs that someone is coming. Often, before that stage, He starts with a period of internal and external preparation. This process is just as important as the actual union. Marriage isn't simply about finding the right person. It's about becoming the right person. And for a believer, this preparation is not just material or emotional, but spiritual as well. Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. And He does not bring something into your life until you are ready to handle it with the right mindset, intention, and responsibility. The first and most essential part of preparation begins within. Before asking Allah to send you someone righteous, someone loving and emotionally available, you have to ask yourself, am I working on being those things myself? Internal readiness is about knowing who you are, understanding your emotional triggers, being aware of your past wounds, and being honest with your intentions. Marriage will not heal all your problems. It will, in many ways, magnify them. If there are areas of unresolved pain, anger, or insecurity within you, those wounds will often surface even more once you are in a close, intimate relationship. That is why Allah sometimes delays marriage, not to punish you, but to give you the space to grow and heal. True readiness includes emotional maturity. This means being able to communicate with honesty and patience, being able to apologize and forgive, and knowing how to manage conflict in a healthy way. It also means letting go of the fairy tale mindset. Marriage is beautiful, yes, but it is also a test. It will stretch your patience, challenge your ego, and expose your weaknesses. Are you ready to love someone through their flaws? Are you ready to compromise without losing yourself? Are you ready to build a life with someone that requires consistency, not just passion? Spiritual preparation is equally critical. A successful marriage in Islam is not built only on love, but on taqwa, God consciousness. When two people marry for the sake of Allah, with the intention to support each other in their deen and grow together toward Jannah, their relationship becomes a form of worship. Before entering marriage, it is important to strengthen your connection with Allah. Make your salah consistent. Make a dua a habit. Learn how to rely on Allah during moments of confusion, stress, or sadness, because these moments will surely come in marriage. If your connection with Allah is weak while you are single, it will not automatically strengthen when you get married. In fact, your ability to be a good spouse is directly related to how connected you are to your Creator. External readiness is also important, though it should never outweigh inner growth. From a practical perspective, being ready for marriage includes financial responsibility. This doesn't mean you need to be wealthy, but you should have a stable and halal source of income and a mindset of responsibility. It's not about having everything, but about being able to manage what you do have. In Islam, providing for a spouse and future children is a form of worship, and that role must be taken seriously. Likewise, for both men and women, it's important to understand the rights and responsibilities that come with marriage. Learning the fiqh of marriage, understanding communication dynamics, and preparing for real-life challenges is part of being truly ready. You should also think about your lifestyle and goals. Are you open to relocating? Are your life values aligned with what you want in a future partner? Are you mentally and emotionally prepared to make space for another person's needs, dreams, and family in your life? These are not questions to be answered quickly or emotionally. They require self-reflection. Many marriages face difficulty not because of lack of love, but because of a lack of vision and preparation. Two people may love each other, but if they're not aligned in terms of goals, religion, and communication, that love may not be enough to sustain the relationship. Preparation also means learning to be content and patient. If you enter marriage expecting your spouse to fill a void inside you or to rescue you from loneliness, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. No human being can complete you. Only Allah can do that. The healthiest marriages are those where both individuals are already working on themselves, striving to be whole with Allah and entering the relationship not from a place of neediness, but from a place of stability and gratitude. This is why many scholars advise people to focus on self-development, Islamic knowledge and healing before actively searching for a spouse. It is also crucial to purify your intention. Ask yourself why you want to get married. Is it because everyone else is? Is it because of pressure from family or society? Or is it because you sincerely want to fulfill a sunnah, protect your chastity, and build a life that is pleasing to Allah? The intention behind your marriage will influence the way you approach it and the kind of person you attract. When your intention is pure, Allah will send someone who is aligned with your values and ready to walk with you on the path of faith and growth. Preparing for marriage is not a destination, it's a process. And that process doesn't end once you say "I do." In fact, it intensifies. But the more effort you put into becoming the best version of yourself now, the more prepared you will be to build something meaningful with someone else. Trust that Allah sees your efforts, even if no one else does. He knows what's in your heart, and when He sees you working sincerely for His sake, He will reward you in the most beautiful way. Sometimes through the arrival of a spouse, sometimes through the growth He blesses you with during the wait. Trusting the divine process requires a level of faith that goes beyond simply making dua and waiting for results. It's a state of the heart where you surrender not because you've given up, but because you trust that Allah knows what you do not. In the journey to marriage, there will be moments of waiting, uncertainty, disappointment, and silence. There may be times when you think things are finally moving forward, only for them to fall apart. You might ask yourself why it's taking so long, or why others seem to be finding love so easily while your path remains unclear. It's in these very moments that your trust in Allah, your tawakkul, is being tested and strengthened. Tawakkul is not passive. It does not mean sitting back and waiting for a miracle without taking action. It means doing your part, making sincere dua, improving yourself, seeking counsel, being open to opportunities, while fully relying on Allah for the outcome. It is knowing that no matter how much effort you put in, the result is always in Allah's hands. You may speak to a potential spouse, have the best conversations, feel all the right things, and still it may not work out. That doesn't mean your effort was wasted. It means Allah, in His wisdom, saw something you could not. Maybe it was protection. Maybe it was preparation. Maybe the timing wasn't right, or the hearts were not fully ready. Tawakkul is choosing to say, Alhamdulillah, even when the door closes, trusting that Allah only takes away to give you something better, or to give you more of Himself. Patience during the waiting period is one of the most difficult forms of sabr. When you've been praying for a spouse for years, and nothing seems to change, it's easy to fall into despair. But despair is a trick of shaitan. He wants you to think that Allah has forgotten you, that your du'as are not being heard. The truth is that Allah hears every single word, even the ones you can't express. The Prophet Muhammad told us that dua is never wasted. It is either answered immediately, delayed for a better time, or saved as a reward in the hereafter. So when you pray for marriage and don't see anything happening right away, know that something is happening, just not always in a way you can see. Sometimes, what Allah is doing behind the scenes is preparing you, or preparing the person you are meant to meet. Maybe the person you're going to marry is also making dua for you right now. Maybe they're still healing, or learning, or growing. Allah is the best of planners, and His timing is perfect. You may think you're ready, but only Allah knows the full picture. He sees your future, your character, your emotional state, and the future of the person you will marry. When the right time comes, hearts will align and the path will open with ease. That is the power of divine timing. And when something is truly written for you, it will never require you to beg, chase, or force. It will come with clarity, peace, and barakah. It's also important to understand that trusting the process includes trusting the delays. The delay is not a punishment. Sometimes, the delay is a mercy. If Allah gave us everything we asked for exactly when we asked for it, we would not learn patience. We would not grow in faith, and we would not understand the value of what we receive. Delays refine us. They remove arrogance, soften the heart, increase gratitude, and deepen our connection with Allah. Every tear you shed in prayer, every moment you choose faith over frustration, every time you say, Ya Allah, I trust you, when your heart is breaking, all of it is recorded, and none of it is wasted. Allah sees it all, and He will reward it all. In the waiting, don't let bitterness grow. Let it be a time of beauty and surrender. Use it to draw closer to Allah. Use it to build a life that already feels whole, with or without someone else. The more fulfilled you are in your relationship with Allah, the less you will attach your happiness to a human being. And ironically, this is what makes you truly ready for marriage. When you're no longer seeking someone to complete you, but to partner with you in the journey to Allah. Tawakkul also means trusting even when the outcome is not what you hoped for. Sometimes, you may meet someone and feel like everything is finally falling into place, only for it to end unexpectedly. In those moments, Your heart will be tested like never before. But even then, hold on. Even then, trust that Allah will bring something better. What feels like heartbreak now may be the very thing that leads you to someone more suited for your soul. The plans of Allah often make no sense at first, until one day they do. And on that day, you will look back and say, Subhanallah, if it hadn't happened this way, I wouldn't be where I am now. At the end of it all, the goal is not just to get married. The goal is to be content with Allah's plan. Whether He brings someone into your life tomorrow, next year, or in a way you never imagined, know that He's always writing a story of mercy. Trust the process. Trust the pause. Trust the unanswered prayers. Your journey is sacred, and it is unfolding exactly as it should. Keep walking with faith, and leave the rest to the one who created your heart in the first place. He knows what it longs for, and He knows when it will be ready. May Allah bless you and guide you to a life filled with mercy, love, and tranquility.